Okay, guys, so we're going to break down a swing from a very average swinging big leaguer. This guy's been in the big leagues for 5 years, going on 6. He is probably going to stay in the big leagues. He's a really solid center fielder, really good on base percentage, decent batting average, not going to drive the ball a whole lot, and he used to be a former TBC kid, I believe. So his name is TJ Friedl. He's the starting center fielder for the Reds. Now, one thing that I want you to watch is this guy has a very good eye, right? He's got like an on-base percentage of like 380, right? Or 370, right? So as a guy who's not hitting 20, 30, 40 home runs a year, he's got to walk a lot and get a lot of singles, right? So we're going to watch a more traditional, like put the ball in play, super quick athlete play in the big leagues. So let's break down his swing a little bit. So the first thing that I see, and I found the best swing that I could for video purposes, right? This is a home run, right? And this was, I think, 2023. So one of the things that I want to really emphasize is where his hands are, right? He doesn't really do a whole lot with his hands. So that's the first thing we're going to focus on. So as he loads his body, right, you can see how his hands don't really do a whole lot. They just kind of stay there, right? We go back, like his foot is in the air. His hands don't really move a whole lot. And then as he goes to put his foot down, they just kind of transition into the slot. So he's nice and quick through the baseball. There's a dinger for number 29, TJ Friedl. But I think that talks a lot to what his game is and how he understands himself. He understands he's not there to hit 30 bombs a year. He's there to play center field and get on base, and he hits leadoff in front of Gavin Lux and Ellie De La Cruz. Your job is to not hit the ball over the fence. Your job is to get on first base so Gavin and Ellie can drive you in, hopefully get you to second, third, and then score, right? So first thing we're going to look at with those hands is like he doesn't do anything with them, right? He almost lets his hands go before his foot even hits the ground, too. You can see there's a lot of space between his foot right here. His foot is not planted on the ground yet. And he has already started his swing, right? This is something that I talked about in my video breakdown. When I was growing up, we were toe down, and then we're going to turn our heel into the landing, basically forcing better separation, quote unquote, but maybe not necessarily the best case for some people. But if I go back, you can clearly see his elbow has started to move. Now his foot is firmly in the ground, right? So boom, now his foot is in the ground. And look at where his swing is, right? So he started his swing like right here. That's where he started his swing, right? So if he's starting his swing there, and then as his heel gets into the ground, he's got a lot more momentum coming, right? You can see that separation start. We've got the shoulders in one line. I know this is a side view, so we can't see it. But you can see how those hips have started to open, right? So we go back just a little bit. And then as we scroll through, you can see how those hips open and the shoulders try to stay back. And again, he's an undersized guy, so he might have to cheat a little bit to get things going. But he's got a pretty good on-base percentage, so he's not striking out a lot. He's able to get on base a lot of the time. And he's got a decent batting average, so we know he's putting the ball in play. He's not striking out, again, like I just said. So he's kind of cheating with those hips and allowing that slot to come in with a little bit more momentum, right? Because he's almost pre-swinging. Like it looks like he is swinging. So that's where his elbow is. Let's draw a line right there. So that's where his elbow is. Now, his foot hasn't hit the ground yet. Now it's hit the ground. So you can see he is starting his swing pretty early. Now, this was off of Mr. Tony Gonsolin? I don't know. Gonsolin from the Dodgers a couple years ago. This was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball on the inside part of the plate. He got out, hit it out in front, hit an absolute tank. So this is a guy at the highest level who is undersized, cheating on a fastball count, and we're seeing what it looks like. So we know his hands aren't going to do a whole lot. We know his hands are going to stay right there. So they can get right into that slot. We know you can even see that hip start to fire before that foot even fully impacts the ground. He's already rotating right there, right? Again, he's cheating a little bit to the fastball. He knows what's coming. He probably has a good percentage. Like, hey, 2-1 count, 1-1 count. He's probably going to give me a fastball inside and try to challenge me. Let's get it out in front, see what we can do. Now, one thing that I talked about in my post was the ability to side bend from your hinge position. Again, we've got a side view. I wish I had a front view. But obviously, he's in an athletic position, knees bent, butt back. In order for him to maintain the knees bent, butt back position, this is when you see that elbow work down and the other elbow work up. It's the spine side bending, right? The spine has to side bend to get the barrel down and into the zone, or else the hands have to drop, which doesn't create a really good bat path, and it creates a lot of variability for cutting the ball, spinning the ball, just not a lot of square contact. And look at that solid connection point. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, do you see how this elbow is elevated up here? And you can see how this elbow is down by his side, right? That is the spine side bending. And for me, like I talked about in my last post, in order for me to feel this move, I had to feel my shoulders do more, right, to start. And then I started to understand, like, okay, I don't need my shoulders as much as I think I do, but this was a big aha moment for me. Like, how do I get to this side bending position? And for me, I had to think about, like I said in other videos, I got to move my front elbow up and my back elbow down, but do it like by kind of using my shoulders. I know that kind of sounds funky, but that was the best way I could describe it. Was I'm moving my elbows with my shoulders, and I'm trying to get my elbows to pretty much frame the baseball. What do I mean by that is, like right here, ideally, like, where are we looking for the baseball? We're looking for the baseball out in front of us, right? So my theory in my head was I'm trying to feel like my elbows, or my front elbow would be on the top of the pitch, and my bottom elbow would be on the bottom of the pitch, right? Like perfectly framing it like in a picture wooden frame. Ideally, is it going to work? No, but it put me in a really good position to throw the barrel through the zone with a lot of aggression. So just a quick recap of what we were seeing with this guy. Very, very subtle hand movement, right? Kind of a momentum opening step, but he's able to keep his hands back because he's probably not doing a whole lot with them. It allows him to get away with what he's doing. There's that front hip opening. Hands aren't doing a whole lot. Barrel's going to lay down nice and easy into the slot. See how the knob is pointing to the pitcher here? So he knows where he's going. He breaks that top hand, finds the barrel. That ball is tatered, right? Just another great variability in the baseball swing, right? This guy is not your top tier $300 million a year athlete, but this guy's going to play in the big leagues. Hopefully he gets his big league tenure and he can get paid for the rest of his life. But this is just a guy who many people don't know his name, but he's going to play every single day in the big leagues. And ultimately, I think that's a lot of kids' goal. You don't care if you're a superstar or not, but if you played every day in the big leagues, I think your life would be okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Remember, we've got subtle hands, a little bit of an early hip turn to catch the ball out in front, to do damage in a fastball count. Not bad. There we go. So this is the front angle of that side angle that we were just talking about, right? So you can see how we've got, right? That's that hinge that we talk about, right? Now, we already know he doesn't do a whole lot with his hands, right? So he's not trying to think big stretch with the upper body. That's not what he's trying to think, right? We have to assume that doesn't do well for him. He's probably been taught that and he just can't do it. Also, this guy is a 400 hitter in D1 baseball. He's got a good idea of how to put the barrel on the ball, so we don't need to mess around with it too much. So, again, we know that this is going to be a home run, right? So let's look at that angle, right? Now, remember I talked about how he was swinging before his foot fully got into the ground. Now we can really see it, right? So there's the foot. You can start to see his body is turning into the landing of the heel, right? This is something that I'm a big believer in. If you can do it. I don't think a lot of people understand that this is difficult for some people to do. Just some people just can't hold on to this, and you might need something different, right? But this was something that I was able to do when I was hitting, which was toe down, I start my turn, and then I turn into my landing. Now the heel is fully down, right? Excuse me. That's unprofessional. But look at where he is with his toe down, right? There's the toe. You can even see how he started to open up. So there's no foot contact. And then as the foot hits the ground, boom, there's one position. You can already see how that pelvis is starting to rotate. And there's the heel in the ground, right there. I don't even think that's fully in the ground, but it's pretty damn close. Like I would say there, it's fully in the ground, right? So, we talked about how the elbows want to frame the pitch, right? This is one of the reasons why I got that idea. Like you can see how that goes above it and that would go below it, but it's kind of off the ball. But you guys see what I'm getting? It's like you're framing the baseball with your forearms. That was a belief of mine. It just helped me quite a bit. Now, we know that his hips are going. We know he gets into the slot. We can see the top elbow work up, and there's that side bend position, guys. There he is with that nice side bend that we've got from here to here, which generally matches the plane of the barrel. And if we work back, so right there, he is not side bending. So how do we get to that angle? As he's turning, do you see how he's holding his spine angle of that first or that second blue line that I drew? We'll go back. I'll even make this a nicer line. So if you look at, I'll even make it red, right? So that's his, as we call it at TPC, that's his two-piece posture, right? His foot down posture is there, right? He has to maintain that foot down posture throughout his turn, right? This is what gave me a lot of fits when I was growing up because I would pop up out of my spine posture and let my hands drop, and I would top spin the crap out of baseballs, and I was a great singles hitter. Couldn't really hit a lot of doubles. But if you look at how his angle, right, with his body, he's going to turn, and now his shoulder angle is going to match that blue line. Boom. And he does that by side bending, right? Again, for me, I had to use and feel my elbows and shoulders to understand this, right? And then when I was playing in the CWL, I just let it go, right? I didn't think about nothing, right? But in order for me to acquire this skill, I had to think about using my elbows and my shoulders to go from here to here. And that's where the framing the baseball concept came up for me. And TJ gets a good barrel on that, right? And you can see like his spine is actually, if I take this, his spine is right there. It's on that secondary red line. So if we actually go back this way, right? Do you guys see how it doesn't matter? Even if I really adjusted that spine angle, he is able to side bend to get there. Now, it is a spine thing. You need to use your obliques and your lats in order to do this. This is not a shoulders thing, right? This is not an elbows thing. I just use those joints and limbs because my body couldn't understand how to do it without doing that to start. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is a quick little simple breakdown of TJ Friedl. This guy is a big inspiration, I think, to a lot of young baseball players.